Leo, I'm going to be doing a self-love tarot reading. These are general readings. If it doesn't resonate with you this week, come back next weekend. Maybe I can help you then. These are self-love readings designed for Spirit to showcase us areas where maybe, we're letting ourselves down a little bit. That happens sometimes. And areas we can be more authentic with ourselves. So I do a 6-card spread, Leo. And then the seventh card I do is from Spirit. I shuffled a little bit before. Let's give her another go. Excellent. Okay, Leo, in this first position, it's going to be how you're feeling right now, or maybe like where you are. In this second position, it's going to be an area Spirit wants you to prioritize, maybe something that you need to focus more on. In this third position, it's going to be, maybe something you thought that you would just deal with later, or maybe something you're just putting off on the back burner, and Spirit's like, let's focus on that now. In this fourth position, it's going to be something that Spirit wants you to showcase, to be more authentic with yourself. Part of self-love is self-acceptance, and it's hard to accept parts of ourselves that we're not willing to acknowledge. In this fifth position, we are going to look at something that Spirit wants you to let go of. In this sixth position, it's something that Spirit wants you to acknowledge. It could be something that's in your environment, and maybe you just, you're not aware of it, or you didn't know it was for you, and Spirit wants to, highlight that. And like I said, in this seventh position, it's going to be Spirit message. Okay, let's get started. In this first position, Leo, we have the Tower. You may feel right now like you're going through changes, a shakeup. Maybe like things around you are feeling really unstable. Maybe you are going to be making changes soon, or changes are coming into your life that you did not prepare for. We see the Tower, but we see the lightning, right? And the lightning is the divine. It's the universe. It's too much pressure being built up in one point. Sometimes what happens is we decide that, there's changes in our lives that we're not ready for, and so we try to not move forward, or we try to push against those changes. But what happens is there's energy behind us trying to move us along, trying to move us forward. We are all following our own energetic paths, right? We're just like pretty little beams of light. But what happens is it bottlenecks, right? You stop the progress, you stop that energy from being able to move forward. And so the universe is trying to push you to move forward. And when it can't get you to budge, it shocks you with a bunch of electricity. It actually forces you to move forward. It really just, the cool thing about that is, things start to speed up and get moving faster, but at the same time, if you were reluctant to move forward, it may be really hard to find that sense of detachment from whatever else it was you were holding on to, or whatever you were reluctant to leave behind. In this second position, Leo, something the universe wants you to prioritize is this feeling of disappointment. You have the 5 of Cups, Leo. That's unfortunate. We see here that she's illuminated in the water, but for whatever the reason, she doesn't see the 2 cups here. Maybe she does, but she's mourning that she has lost. And okay, she did lose more maybe than what she has, but she still has something. I think sometimes we kind of maybe can get stuck on that sense of what we thought we wanted, or how we thought things would be, right? There's actually a psychological term for it, and it's expectation violation, right? You have an idea of how you think things will go, and because things kind of, are going that way, or just the way that you've been thinking about it, you think something's gonna happen. And then it doesn't, and we disappoint ourselves with that way of thinking, with these expectations. And because there's a violation of that expectation, we tend to interpret that in kind of negative ways. I'm trying to scoot back. We tend to interpret that in some negative ways. And what we really need to pay attention to is that, one, rejection is redirection. If it wasn't meant for us, then it's okay. But two, that we also have other opportunities available to us. There's never nothing for you. There's always something. And here we see she has two things, but that's not what she's focused on. Right, okay. And then in this position of what the universe wants you to put more of your time and attention into, more focus into, is this Ace of Swords. So there must be some kind of clarity, some kind of idea coming through. This is like crown chakra uploads. The universe is trying to get you to move forward, get you to recognize the signs of this tower, or get you to recognize that this tower is directly related to something, some kind of behavior, or some kind of movement or pattern, probably more like a pattern in your life, that needs to give way. It's just not working for you right now, and the universe is trying to move you forward. But because you have this sense of disappointment, you are unable to move forward on your own. And so the universe is like, well, guess what? Now I'm just gonna have to shoot a lightning bolt at you. In this fourth position of something the universe wants you to acknowledge and showcase about yourself, to be more authentic, Leo. The thing about being authentic is not to be authentic so that other people like you or think that you're cool, or like, so they like, really like peep your vibe. Like, no. The point of being authentic is that you have so many aspects to yourself, Leo. You are represented in the tarot as the sun. Okay, if that wasn't enough to like give you an extremely large ego, it would be for me. You are represented by the sun because you have the capacity to bring love and light into other people's lives. The sun is what our whole solar system revolves around. Like our life revolves around the sun. If you're a Leo, then you probably find often that people need you a lot, or they feel like they need you a lot, or when you're not around, you feel like people, they want you around. And because of that, Spirit is saying, we want you to showcase this nurturing energy. You got the Empress, this divine feminine. This isn't saying that you have to go around like wearing a dress and like wearing heels and, or being in the kitchen and being like Betty Homemaker or Betty Crocker or whatever, anything like that. This is just saying that the Empress is like the embodiment of love. So when we talk about feminine energy, we're talking about like going inside, and we're talking about addressing our feelings, and getting into contact with the feelings of other people. And then masculine energy is all about outside of ourselves. Well, the divine feminine, she is about love. I know it's so just like poetic and like so fancy and like art in the park after dark, right? But truly, she's about love. And if you notice, around her is lush and it's green. Oh, it's so green. And this is just to indicate like how nurturing and being loving can make everything around you grow. And then look, we see the bunnies. There are two bunnies there. We know what bunnies do, multiplying. She herself is pregnant. She sits in this crescent moon to symbolize the phases of the moon and the cycles of our own emotions. Even the tides change with the moon, right? So we ourselves, we also change. But the universe is saying, acknowledge this nurturing energy and give yourself love, but also love those around you. In this fifth position, that's the thing the universe wants you to let go of. We have the Wheel of Fortune. I think in this particular instance, you might be encountering this tower, and you might be thinking, oh, things will get better. Oh, you know, things will work out. Things will work out. But what the universe wants you to acknowledge is that things are not actually going to work out. You have been given all of the information that you need to deal with the situation. Things are not going to work out into your favor until you deal with the situation. You've been given the information, time to deal with the situation. I know that's so much easier said than done, and when I listen to readers, I get very frustrated because I'm like, excuse me, it's so easy for you to sit there and read the cards and go, you know, speak with your inner child and focus on your healing and things will work out on their own. And it's like, how? That's not helpful. Please help me. I need help. But here the universe is saying, like, you have the information that you need. You've been provided this chakra update, right? I'm sorry, I don't know if that's fair or if I'm not allowed to do that, but I just love chakras. Avatar, The Last Airbender, Guru Patik. I love it. Okay, so anyway, but the tower isn't just gonna go away on its own. You're gonna have to deal with it, with the information. But because of this disappointment, you're not moving forward. You're just bottling it up, and that tower is coming, or it's upon you. Universe says that if you exercise, you know, more of this nurturing, this self-love, and this love for others, that this tower is going to be much more manageable. I'm not saying that this tower is going to go away, because again, this tower is just indicating patterns of behavior that you're used to that are no longer serving you. And it could be living that sense of disappointment and just not giving away love. Because, you know, sometimes when we get disappointed, you know, it's hard to just continue to give ourselves in a situation. And what the universe wants you to acknowledge is this magician. Freaking frick yes. Okay, what I love about the magician is that he has this drum here, okay? And there is so much freaking magic in his freaking body that he freaking drums on this freaking drum, and he drums himself into part of the rhythm of the universe, and he reshapes these stars, okay? I think what the universe wants you to understand here, Leo, is that while you're going through this tower, while things may seem uncomfortable, while things may seem like you don't want to have to deal, or something you don't want to have to deal with, universe is saying you do have the ability and the capability to deal with this. Because again, you are represented by the sun, and in the zodiac, you're the lion. You have strength, you have reserves of strength that you probably have never even honestly acknowledged, but you probably tap into like literally all the time. Like, you know, I bet you have a way of like dealing with shit like nobody's business. Honestly, like your teenage daughter is like yelling at you all the time, and I bet you're just like, well, that's just, you know, how kids are. I'm not trying to be mean. That's a reserves of strength. People like me would have just been like, blah, blah, you know? When you're driving, you know, people cut you off, or they act just indecent, and instead of just like hunting them down like a vicious rabid animal, you just wave it off. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, those people aren't important, and they're probably having a bad day or whatever. Leos have untapped amounts of strength inside. Virgos too, but this is your reading. Leos have untapped amounts of strength, and it's just that you don't realize, because it's happening to you, you don't realize how uncommon it is. You know, you don't notice it in all of your other friends. You're not just like, because you're not just out there judging them. Well, maybe just a little bit, but we call it compartmentalizing. Anyway, yeah, so you just don't notice it because you have so much of it. But other people look at you and they see somebody who is incredibly strong. How do you deal with all of these things all the time? And you're just like, well, it's just normal. But other people are like, no, it's not. It's you. What the universe wants you to acknowledge, universe message to you in the 7th position, we have the Prince of Pentacles. Is there some sort of stubborn energy here? I say this because 2 things. Once the Prince of Pentacles is like the slowest moving prince that you've ever met in your entire life. He's very glacial. He takes his time, but it's because not his fault all the time. Because look, if you see, he's being pulled by the bull, which is number 2. This bull is probably incredibly stubborn and hard to get moving. Look, his feet, the way he's dug in, I don't know if you've ever taken like a dog on a walk and they have never used a leash before, but they like do this thing where they just like tuck in their neck and they push their front paws forward and they won't move anymore. This bull isn't going anywhere. So while you may have, you know, a capacity to move forward, you have a tendency to just hold yourself back. Just like, no, you know? I mean, I've never heard of a fire sign being stubborn, so that's weird. Anyway, let's go ahead and clarify. I think this is a pretty clear message, though. I hope this helps. Let's see. So we said we have this tower. What is the tower regarding? What is this tower around? I think it's this like, yeah, I think this is just this disappointment, keeping you from like, you know, moving forward. Maybe you're focused on what you've lost instead of what you have. This tower is, yeah, definitely for your betterment, okay? This is going to bring in a transformation. If you have in the past a tendency to just, you know, focus on the disappointments and the things that didn't work out, well, of course you're not going to move forward, silly. You're too busy looking behind you. You need to be looking over there. I say that like it's easy. And this tower is going to spark this inner journey. Maybe this really is, you know, a lightning bolt. It could actually be. In Back to the Future, they need a lightning bolt to get back to the future. But you need a lightning bolt to get back to the past. No, you the other way around. You need a lightning bolt to get back to the future. Stop going to the past. Let's not do that anymore. But this lightning bolt could definitely be the spark to an inner journey. I think a lot of people tend to get confused. When things in their life are not working out, they tend to try harder. But the universe is like, hey, no, I tried to let you know very gently that that wasn't working out. But now I'm going to have to throw a lightning bolt in there because I need you to understand that you're going in the wrong way. We're not going to go backwards anymore. We're not even trying to go forwards. We have to go inwards to figure out what it is that's contributing to this pattern that, you know, it's not working for us anymore. And I think it's this disappointment because universe put this in the area to prioritize. If there is a sense of disappointment or an overall encompassing, encroaching sense of disappointment, maybe, you know, anxiety or depression, we have to look at those patterns. If that's something that's like, you know, regular, then I don't recommend pharmaceuticals. Not that I've ever been prescribed anything for any of my problems. Oh my God. But just because I've seen how other people have reacted. You know, my friends and my brothers who, my brothers have ADHD and they don't like the medicine because it makes them very drowsy. It makes them very tired and sleepy. And you know, they're boys, they want to go out and have fun. So I don't recommend that. But therapy I always recommend because with anxiety tells you something's wrong. It doesn't matter if there is something wrong or not. Your anxiety is telling you that there is. There are people who you can pay to listen to you talk about what could potentially be wrong. Isn't that amazing? You can literally just pay them. You don't have to like frustrate your family. You don't have to sit up late at night just ruminating on things. You could literally go to somebody and sit on their nice cushy couch and just be like, guess what, this week my brain told me that there was going to be a toilet paper shortage for the entire world, and so I went out and bought 58 cases. There's people that, you know, you can talk to. If you want a more proactive approach, psychologists, they help you. You sit down and you say, look, dude, like I have a really, really hard time with a lot of things, expressing a lot of things. And then they're like, well, why do you feel that way? And you're like, I don't know. And they're like, well, where do you feel that way? And I was like, oh, that's a good question. I feel it here and I feel it up in my throat. And she's like, oh, did you know that those are symptoms of anxiety? And I'm like, I have anxiety? That's crazy. I'm neurotic. What? I didn't know that. And then they, you know, they come up with ideas that work with you. There's lots of ideas about how to like help ease symptoms of anxiety. But a psychologist will help work with you to move through those things and to get a better development. or better handle on developing coping mechanisms designed for that. So, but if this is just a disappointment, you know, with the past, then those are things that are acceptable. If this is just a disappointment with somebody in the past, you know, and you're trying to figure out whether or not you want to move forward with them in the future, well, that's understandable too. But I think that this Tower is here because of this disappointment, because you're not trying to move past it. And we can try to help with that. Okay? So this is actually a very good lesson, because if you are disappointed in something, I would encourage you to try to look at both sides of the situation. I would encourage you to try to understand that disappointment only leads us to understand further what we would rather have laid down. Lay down. Only helps us understand, this is my dog, I'm sorry, only helps us understand what we would rather have in the future. Let's say, you know, we have a partner who is not verbally or mentally or physically abusive to us, abusive in any way, if we don't like it, that's abuse. Anyway, we have a partner that's not abusive to us in any way. They just happen to be like chronically late, which I would argue is a respect thing, and I think that's rude. But they just happen to be a chronically late person. They're not disrespectful to you in other ways. That's just the only thing. And you know, in every other way, this guy is perfect. Let's name him David. David's perfect in like every other way. He has like a sharp chin and like manly shoulders and like you know, good hair and teeth. Oh, he had like orthodontist work when he was like 9, so he has like great teeth, you know, and like on paper he's so perfect. He makes so much money and he's actually very loyal. He's just chronically late, like 15, 20 minutes late. You know, you depend on somebody to get there early. I have learned with my dad, you just tell him like an hour ahead of time. So even if he's sitting around for 20 minutes, too bad, you were here on time. It's your own fault, maybe be like that. Anyway, you just decided this person just, you know, that just really doesn't work for you. Well, in the future, you know, maybe not heavily so focusing on what the person looks like, of course, because that always gets us into trouble. I can tell you personal stories. But knowing that now you want someone with those features who is more dependable. So even if you're sad that it didn't work out, you know it didn't work out for reasons. Historically, towers fall for a reason. Relationships end for a reason. We leave jobs, or we're asked to leave jobs, for a reason. It's good to know those reasons, get to understand them, and then use those in the future. Remember your history. So this card is duality. So it's important to know that while something bad is happening, good things are happening too. Yes, your relationship is ending and that's really sad. But maybe, you know, he was chronically late and he had halitosis. So there's lots of things that you're winning, okay? And then for my male viewers, you know, maybe, you know, you met Sally and she was just the perfect va-va-va-voom, but she was like really dirty. I have met many girls in my life that are very, very dirty. Ugh. You know, they just leave their old dirty dishes, their toothpaste with the cap off. Ugh. You know, their hair on the bathroom shower. They don't take out their trash cans, and they get really filled and full, and their sink is gross. And there's, you know, you go into their bedrooms, and it's like all the way up to the bed is full of clothes and old stuff. Like, oh, you know, you meet her and she's gorgeous on paper, sure, but like, oh, could you live with a slob? Imagine what she would do to your house, right? So yeah, you have to let go, and that's sad, and it's a disappointment, and you had those expectations in your head of what could have happened. But now we know in the future that with the good comes the bad. And, you know, before we fall in love with Sally just because she has the va-va-voom, we go to, you know, see her house and maybe meet her friends. If there are rats who are not like her, like they didn't move in with her, you should be worried about that. It's all good, right? Right. So with disappointment comes knowledge of what we don't want in the future. We said that the universe wants you to make time and focus more of your energy and attention on this Ace of Swords. Okay, so this sense of disappointment, I think that you understand that it's impeding you somehow. Okay, whatever the sense of disappointment is, whatever it's wrapped around, universe is saying that information is there for you. It's readily available for you to come into contact to be able to deal with this. It is this inner journey though, and the disappointment is blocking you. Maybe an emotional release too. Leos, they tend to keep a lot of the stuff inside because people do see them as that sunshine, right? They do see them as that sunlight in their life. And so a lot of Leos think, oh, no one would like me if I felt the way that I really felt all the time. And the universe is saying you've had that epiphany, that awakening as to like what it is you have to do with this situation. And maybe you're holding back because you're disappointed, and because you're disappointed, you're sad, and because you're just sad, you want to cry. Freaking cry. Let it out, and then take like a 3-hour depression nap. You're gonna wake up, you're gonna want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and Leo, I swear to God, you're gonna feel better. I swear to God. If you don't, call me, I'll give you a full refund for that peanut butter and jelly. The universe is saying there is an unlimited possibilities for you, Leo, okay? So whatever it is you're stuck on, that's not just the only thing out there for you. Actually, that thing wasn't out there for you. You just really wanted it. But there are so many things out there for you, Leo. The universe says to be more authentic with who you are as part of, you know, that bigger sense of who you are. We are all multifaceted. You know, you could be a mom or a husband and then still have parents who depend on you. You could be a mom, or a wife or a husband, have parents who depend on you, or be a wife or a husband who has children who depend on you and still have parents depend on you, and then still have people at work that depend on you, and still have a spouse that, you know, depends on you. Not only that, but like for emotional support and for sexy time, and now you have to factor sexy time into all of these things. You are multifaceted. There is so many aspects to who you are. Leo, in the universe, is saying showcase more of that nurturing side of you. I think because of this disappointment, this isn't nurturing so much the people around you. Although, you know, we are not separate or alone on this planet, nurture the relationships around you that do bring you joy. Nurture the relationship with yourself most, though, because this is a self-love tarot reading. Divine timing. So with this, I get the sense that, you know, this tower is happening and you don't really have a choice. So I feel like this nurturing energy is not going to protect you from the tower, but I do feel like this nurturing energy will like soothe the burn. You know how like when you get a really bad sunburn and you're just like, my hair's smooth, but then you put aloe lotion on it and it's just like, oh. The nurturing yourself is going to be the aloe. Yeah, nice and soothing. Retreat. You can nurture yourself. You can retreat if you're able to take time away. If not, let's talk about that a little bit. You should be able to get away for some time. But look, it shows this like storm up here, and when we're unsure or when we feel unsecure, not insecure, we just feel unsecure, we can remove ourselves from situations and like really take time to step back and look at it. And if there's not a sense of nurturing yourself right now, then you should take that step back and look at why. Do you nurture those around you but not yourself? Are you just not a nurturer? You don't nurture like plants or cats or anything? Universe says that you have to stop acting like some kind of change is going to come and swoop you up in this tower. Just won't happen. Stop not acknowledging it, because that tower is not, or that change isn't coming. You yourself have to deal with the tower. What ends up happening when we don't deal with one particular tower is that that bottleneck just gets tighter and tighter and tighter, right? And we don't deal with the first thing, and then so I don't want to keep doing this, it's gross. We don't deal with the first thing, and so that pressure increases, and then we have like another thing that comes up because, you know, now the energy can't move, and so things just keep piling and piling and piling. So it's not like you just think, oh, one lesson, I just won't deal with that one lesson. Oh, wait, no, because every single lesson is coming behind that too. So it's like not doing the first weeks of school's assignments, and then because you didn't do those weeks' assignments, you're constantly back, and then by the time this semester ends, you're like 15 assignments behind, and you know, that's what this is like. So you're not just impeding one tower, you are incurring more as you go along. The universe says, watch for the omens. It's spring and there are a lot of birds out, but maybe there are particular signs that are, you know, relevant to you. I always think of 7-Eleven. I don't know why, but like I have a history of like waking up at 7-Eleven, or I'll get my first cup of coffee at 7-Eleven, or I'll do something in particular at 7-Eleven, and I always see the clock. So like any omens that are relevant to you. This is working up your psychic developments, okay? You trying to act like something's gonna come along and like this tower won't be something you have to deal with, that's avoiding and ignoring your intuition. Dealing with this tower, because the universe is giving you information on how, dealing with this tower will boost your intuition. It'll help you get more in touch with who you are fully, you know, your higher self. Universe says that maybe you're feeling like you can't move forward because in the past you've had defeat, and baby, that's the past. Even if you were currently in defeat, that is a word. It is not a place. We don't live there, okay? So you have the power to get yourself out of all of whatever it is. You were blocking this abundance for yourself. This is my only card for like serious material abundance. Oh, I have one more. But this is the only one. And I really believe that these are, our material abundance is connected to our connection with ourself. Universe is saying that you can move forward from this situation and allow yourself to become unblocked. Make more material abundance. Past, present, and future, Leo. These are habits, okay? Self-love, as we grow, we don't learn self-love very often unless you come from a secure environment, which is like really uncommon. So don't feel bad if it wasn't you. But we learn habits that tell us that we have to give parts of ourselves away, parts of our energy, parts of, you know, who we are just to survive. We learn that, and then we get older and we realize that we can't survive like that because, you know, now we're not in that same environment anymore. What we were dependent on before doesn't work for us now. And so self-love, these messages and finding self-love are about redirecting those habits so that we're not only giving love, but we're receiving. Or if you were someone who had to be closed off because of your environment, we're going from just not just receiving, but also giving. So we're going from that give and take. If this pattern of disappointment has hindered you in the past, it's going to continue to hinder you in the future until you deal with it. Once you deal with it now, that's that next step, you know, by acknowledging the tower, acknowledging the feelings of disappointment. Yes, it sucks, but the universe is giving you ideas on how to deal with it. Deal with it, move forward, change those habits, and you won't be the stuck bull anymore. Universe says that this is their message to you specifically. You're moving too slowly. I mean, I don't think universe says you're moving too slowly, but you're moving very slowly. You are making movement. But because you're not willing to deal with this, you are kind of holding yourself back. Look at this bull. He is dug in there, okay? You're struggling. When we push against what's not meant for us, all we're doing is like expending momentum. We're not getting anywhere. When we turn around and we move towards what's redirected for us, all of that momentum that we've been building and like wasting, it's just gonna shoot us forward. Like I said, it's just like when we stop fighting, you know, the divine energy. We create that tower because it's bottlenecking behind us. You're struggling right now, but if you just turned around and you swam with the current, you'd move so much faster and you'd get so much farther. And if you don't know how to do that, my email address and my Instagram are in the box below. I'm doing free pre-recorded personal readings because my schedule is like really all over the place. But also I recommend grounding. My favorite form of grounding, Leo, is walks in nature. You can do meditative walks, which I highly recommend, where it's just you're breathing and centering yourself, getting into the moment. Because when you're in the moment, you can't help but feel the way you feel. And if it sucks, well, you're already outside. And like if you go, I walk in the woods, you're already out in the woods. You can scream, you can cry, no one will hear you. So, Leo, that was my last card. I just want to give you a quick recap, even though I just keep kind of doing that. Universe is saying to me right now that you feel like you're experiencing some kind of tower. You feel like something isn't working out the way that you wanted. But what I'm getting is that this is because you're carrying some sense of disappointment. And the universe wants you to let go. It's giving you all of this information to move on. But because you aren't, you know, that tower is building up that energy behind you, trying to get you to move. You're not choosing to, so the universe is choosing for you. You are trying to acknowledge or act like something's going to come along to help you, but there's nothing to help you. You have to help yourself because you have the information. Universe hasn't left you alone. They provided you all of the parts. Now you just have to put them together. Because you're the magician. What? You can do it. You can do it. You bring life and light and energy into lives of those people around you. But right now, you're a little bit stubborn. You're stuck in this, like, well, it didn't work out in the past. It might not work out in the future energy. Universe is saying be more nurturing to yourself, Leo. Nurture the wolves around you, but definitely to yourself. It's going to help with the sting of this tower. Okay? Leo, I hope that helps. Have a great day.